Hey, I'm Rutledge.
Hey, I'm Connor.
And we're Friends Stream Sports. We're real friends who talk about real sports in real time, and we just wanted to be on time for everybody out there. So, had to come in a little early. You're going to see a little bit behind the scenes, behind the sports. If you haven't played Madden 20 before, this is what the menus look like. But hey, we're here. Connor, how are you?
Rutledge, we're doing well. It's nice and steamy down here in Central Florida, but as the summer heat and sun wears on, there comes a point where, just like a mirage, far off in the distance, you can see the end of the dog days of summer and the beginning of a lot of great sports action.
Definitely a lot of great sports action going on. Especially unrelated news. Getting ready. The Liga MX versus MLS quarterfinals are on a little bit. Got a little Sporting KC versus Club Leon and
the new
Sounders
Leagues
versus
Cup.
Tigers UANL. Oh God, that's a misfortunate spelling.
It's Tigres, not Tigers, but that's okay.
First ding of the night. There's the bell. He rung it in.
Ring that bell.
Did you get my game invite?
I did. It's loading right now.
Fantastic.
We are loading.
I'm going to where?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do we want to play? I know we're playing Madden, but what
we're gonna do a little tribute to the Hall of Fame quarterback. Stole the show this weekend at a Hall of Fame weekend, Peyton Manning. So I'm gonna be the Broncos, and you're gonna be the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow! So we're doing this thing where the loser gets to pick which team the winner from the previous week is.
You asked the question, I gave the answer.
And for all those who might not know, that's what went down.
That's exactly what went down.
You know what went down today, Rutledge, was a lot of interesting NFL training camp stuff has gone down so far.
There's been a lot of stuff, and ironically, it starts with, in my mind, the Indianapolis Colts, because who's hurt? Carson Wentz is hurt. There's been a couple injuries in training camp, but to me, maybe not surprising that he's hit by the injury bug. Still, but very big deal that he gets to Colts camp and gets hurt. So that one kind of stings.
Just like his foot. His foot kind of stings as well. Now, when that first came out, and I guess also Quentin Nelson has a very similar injury to Carson Wentz. And, when that first came out, I was actually in France jogging along the Seine and, was able to get my workout in, and they kind of said, at the end of the practice day, Carson Wentz came off, a little sore on his foot. They're going to get an MRI. Shouldn't be all that bad. And boy, were the talking heads wrong. Boy, was everything wrong based off of all that. But should we be surprised?
I really don't think we should be surprised anymore. And I feel bad because this is going to make Carson Wentz make small college football players look bad. Of course, some small college football players are fantastic, but it's just not going well for him.
No, that's so true. He came in having a big first season. One of the things that they're saying about Carson Wentz is that a lot of these injuries actually go back to different injuries when he was a child. So you're getting a lot of injuries that are kind of lingering, things like that. So we'll see what happens. Who do you think could potentially fill in for Carson Wentz at the beginning of the season?
Anyone at this point. They're going to need some help there in Indy. He was kind of a big pull for them because they no longer have Phillip Rivers. So it's kind of an open competition right there for them.
Old man Rivers.
I don't have a big pick of who it's going to be for them yet. And I didn't think about, okay, now that he's out, I don't think they know what they're going to do. but I just know that it's a big deal. You hate to see that happen when a team signs someone in the sense of trying to make things better. Um, Ironically, though, even though Wentz is no longer an Eagle, the Philadelphia Eagles are not gung ho to be naming Jalen Ramsey right now QB1.
I would not want to name Jalen Ramsey QB1 either, especially seeing as he plays cornerback.
I knew I was getting that one wrong.
But Jalen Hurts, he's also kind of banged up right now as well. So he's got some injury pieces to go through. There are some quarterbacks that are definitely struggling here at the beginning of the season. Zach Wilson, did you kind of follow him? Him at the with the Jets scrimmage. Did you kind of see what happened there?
Connor, tell the people, because I feel like I'm going to get a third ding by the fourth quarter. Like, at this point, you might as well just score a touchdown. And here it comes.
There's the tutty. We're getting close here. Jacoby Brissett, 2 for 2, 52 yards, some good balance. Zach Wilson came out through 2 picks in sort of a green and white scrimmage game, which, he definitely looked pretty tough. It was his coach. His coach definitely came out and tried to, encourage and kind of keep it positive and things like that. But at the end of the day, you're the number 2 pick. We are in a time period where things are so involved, and guys coming out of college have such a grasp on things that you really shouldn't be. If you're a number 2 pick, you should be coming out of the chutes firing.
So was he picked too high?
Potentially, yeah. I think obviously only time will tell, right? Josh Allen was definitely not probably the number 1 quarterback that you would have thought from his 2018 class. And if you were like me and really liked Sam Darnold, you kind of thought he was going to be the stud. And Josh Allen just had the literal Brinks truck backed up into his house. So might have been drafted too high. Time will tell. It is very early, but signs and returns right now are not looking too hot for Zach Wilson.
No, and I would agree with, it's okay to be a little bit conservative on that one. I thought when they picked him number 2 that when it was, we did our draft show talking about like this is the next quarterback up, I really didn't think that was such. Who I saw that was an injury, which 2 injuries for me that I saw out there that I think are big deals. First is Lutz over in the Saints is hurt. You think, well, kicker, but Will Lutz has got a core injury, and considering there's probably still a couple question marks still in how good they're going to be in New Orleans, because Michael Thomas has been a little mean on social media, and Sean Payton doesn't want to comment. That when you don't have a good core kicking game to help you win some of those like 3-point games against Atlanta.
Touchdown.
The slant never fails. It's like tails. But to me, with seeing Lutz hurt, that to me just feels like a bad omen for New Orleans, because you got to have your kicking game right. If there's anything we've learned in our first year of Friend Stream Sports, the kicking game matters, and I think it's going to be a little bit bigger of an impact. It's not a season-ending. Everything is broken. I'm sure they'll find someone to fill that role. But he's been one of the better kickers in the league. So that might feel like an underrated story out there. But to me, I think it's worth noting.
Well, of course, as it relates to the New Orleans Saints, especially in a year like this, they're going to need to have that margin is just getting tighter and tighter, right? No Drew Brees. Jameis Winston, who knows how many picks he's going to throw. Who knows if Taysom Hill's going to be starting, what that situation is going to look like. So whenever especially your quarterback situation is not key and doing good, I mean, points are always at a premium in the NFL. I think, what was it, week 1, the average score last year was like 29-27. So, there are weeks where the average score is under a field goal of separation in that game. So points are always at a premium, but being able to really come out and do that well, I just made your cornerback there really struggle, and I'm going to run out of bounds before I get crushed and fumble the ball. Jacoby Brissett with the wheels.
The wheels. Speaking of the wheels, give a shout out to Steven the Steady is here once again watching the show tonight, Connor. So
hello, Steven. Yeah, I mean, we've got, I think NFL training camp is really starting out pretty well. I think the big quarterback story is Trey Lance. Have you been following any of what Trey Lance is happening with him?
Of course I have, but you got to tell the people.
So, Trey Lance has really been coming out hot in training camp. He's got a full-blown quarterback battle that he's worked himself into apparently with Jimmy Garoppolo. And there's questions right now of, should the San Francisco 49ers look to move Jimmy G because Trey Lance has been playing so good. Jimmy G still has some value and could probably still, catch some value within the scheme and system, especially if there's a team like the Eagles that has an injured quarterback. But, we'll see what happens because we can have another rookie quarterback starting here in the western half of the country.
The NFC West continues to be a massively stacked division. If there's one quarterback who joined the NFC West get that pick. Oh, I thought we had that, and then I thought you had it. There's one quarterback you're not going to be seeing this preseason, and that is Matt Stafford. If you didn't follow Sean McVay out there, he has been very insistent that his big starters won't play in preseason. He would rather get some of his lower-tier dudes some reps, get those guys out there, but he's been very out there saying you're not going to see him as long as he's the coach of the Rams. So
that's a very Sean McVay thing, though. I don't think, if I remember correctly, he didn't play his guys last year at all during preseason, also. So, not surprising.
No, very normal for him. Something that was very surprising is, of course, Lionel Messi. I did it. Lionel Messi has been very big announced that after he is leaving Barcelona and is supposed to be signing with Paris Saint-Germain. In Barcelona he had 672 career goals, 10 La Liga titles, 4 Champions League, and 6, can't pronounce that, player of the year. That he ended a 21-year it looks like de oro, which is gold, or of gold in Spanish. 21-year association with the club. Now, we're mostly a football fan base show to our viewers that are out there. Thank you for coming out. Do want to put out there this is probably one of the biggest sports moves to happen. This is, I think, as big and much more of an impact, but think of like your historic NFL quarterbacks if they all moved. Given examples, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Brett Favre are 3 in my lifetime that I can at least, comfortably remember where I was when they left. This is bigger than all of those moves. So I think it changes the big shape of the sport in a large way. And I have plenty to say about this tonight, Connor, but I wanted to give you some 90 seconds. As we know, soccer is much more your wheelhouse than mine.
Oh, yeah, I mean, tough day for Barcelona fans. I think there's a few things to consider as it relates to the Lionel Messi move, and I'll try to keep it brief. Number one, he kind of went where he wanted to go last year. It was no secret Messi was very unhappy with the direction of the club last year. They got him to stay, and the new president of Barcelona, Laporta, his goal was he ran on the pledge that he was going to be able to get Messi to stay. Apparently they had a deal signed in principle, but due to financial fair play, which I don't quite know what financial fair play really means, but, it is a combination of, trying to balance your revenues with your salaries. So financial fair play came to play, and Messi could not be kept, even though, so many Barcelona players had apparently decided and were taking big pay cuts. For PSG, they got Messi on a free transfer. They got Sergio Ramos, I believe, on a free, if not a free. Yeah, Sergio Ramos was on a free transfer. And Donnarumma, who is the European Championship goalie, one of the best goalies in the world, on a free transfer, along with Neymar, along with Mbappe. I mean, this team, PSG has always been loaded really since I've started following soccer. And PSG just, I mean, they are taking that to a whole nother level. As it relates to Barcelona, one of the things that Lionel Messi was able to do for Barcelona was allow Barcelona to throw bad money on top of bad money to help cover up mistakes, kind of like really what the New York Yankees do and can do. But now they don't have that. I mean, the amount of people that would fly to Barcelona for games just to watch Lionel Messi play probably would net and could net Barcelona one player per season. So I think there's still a lot of talent on that roster, but I mean, it's going to be so different, and it can't be what it was, and it won't be what it was because Barcelona, I mean, has been, if you think about it, you're not able to replace him because you can't catch a big transfer fee for Messi. And even before Messi really had dominance, Barcelona had Ronaldinho there to be the number 10. Barca doesn't have really a number 10 right now. Number 10 being that, number one playmaker there on offense. So I know I crushed my 90 seconds. I apologize, but I just needed to get a couple of things off my chest.
Those are, and that's a hairy chest of things to get off of. The big thing to think about when you talk about people coming to see Messi, I actually had a stat, Rutledge in his stats machine. 10% of all tourists that were coming to Barcelona were coming to watch Lionel Messi play. I don't think we even have that percentage of people coming to watch the New York Yankees play baseball, of that they've traveled to an area for the sole reason to just see one sporting thing. So it's a massive impact. This 2-year, $25 million per year deal that he has, it's also going to keep Mbappe in town, who was looking at, I have it written down, but I didn't write it down. Mbappe was in conversations with someone else to leave. I believe it was
Real Madrid.
Thank you, Connor. He was looking at Real Madrid in order to possibly leave PSG, and this will keep him there. It does reunite Messi with Neymar, who it's been reported that Neymar kind of gave him some instrumentals to entice him to come back. That to me felt very NBA when you think about how LeBron James had teamed up with Dwayne Wade. Now he's teamed up. Now he's got Russell Westbrook, and he's got other players that have joined him in the past. So what a huge power move. The slant again. It has been too long since Madden that the slant is just coming back. But what a huge power move of a signing. What a huge impact. So, Connor, do you think there is another player out there right now? Of course, we go back to 2018 when Cristiano Ronaldo went to Juventus. Do you think there's another player right now who's kind of on the fence of soccer to move that would be, of course, not as big of an impact, but almost as big of an impact as Lionel Messi leaving Barcelona?
I think every year you've got, kind of the big transfer guys. I think what's so hard about Messi, I mean, that's you make some analogies about, Messi leaving, that's like Tom Brady leaving. Messi leaving Barcelona would be like Michael Jordan leaving the Bulls before the Last Dance here. A guy who's only been with the Bulls, only been with one team, and still has a ton left in the tank. So, every year there's guys, but, there's clubs that try to sell players. I mean, that's kind of their models. So if you've got, Ajax, for example, you are your goal is to get a lot of good players and then try to go sell them. Dortmund has been a selling-oriented club throughout their kind of previous history. So being able to have a good team like that, and I'm chunking up some yards here, and hopefully I can
throw an interception.
Pick. Can't do that. Cannot do that.
That tackle came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I would say, I think the next biggest player to come out is going to be, or get sold, is going to be Erling Haaland, who currently plays for Dortmund. Everyone says he's the next big thing. Between him and Kylian Mbappe, if he ends up going to Real Madrid, just a matter of time before they totally reload. So those are my thoughts.
What a huge impact. I'm excited to see how it'll shake up as this season as we get ready, as the regular season starts to come around over in Europe eventually. And then, of course, Connor and I get to talk more Champions League once Champions League starts, which we know will go through an entire Champions League um, with everyone this year. But it's going to be a huge. We're building up into this, getting close to the start of year 2 for Friend Stream Sports, and there's a lot been going on.
Oh, there has been a lot going on, including Rutledge getting our sponsor, which sponsors Halftime Hot Takes.
There's nothing better in halftime hot takes than sitting down, delivering some hot takes with a fresh, hot cup of Daddle's coffee.
So good. Rutledge, you might have the coffee copy right in front of you. Tell our viewers and audience out there what's so great about Daddle's.
So Daddle's Coffee is a hand-roasted, small-batch coffee shop located in Winter Park, Florida. Locally owned and operated for all of our Florida friends. Not only do they make great types of coffee and have many varieties on their website, they also donate profits and proceeds to save the King Cavalier Spaniel. Those dogs suffer from hip dysplasia, heart disease, and also can suffer from paralysis. So I like to start my day with a good old cup of Daddles. Connor, where can our viewers get themselves some Daddles?
All you got to do, go to Daddles, Daddles, coffee.com, and check out the website, check out everything. And when you want to buy your coffee, whether or not it's this big old bag of coffee or some K-Cups, use the promo code FSS for FriendStream Sports for 15% off.
It's a really good deal for a really good cup of coffee. It's actually one of the few coffees that Anna Marie will drink. Normally she's a big cream and sugar lady. She'll have a couple daddies black. So gotta love that Daddles coffee. And that brings us into halftime hot takes. So not only are we hot for coffee, we're hot for takes. And obviously tonight's halftime hot takes is more about Lionel Messi. And it's one question for you, this hot take. What is the ceiling for the next 2 years of PSG with Lionel Messi on the roster?
Not back-to-back travels, win the League Cup, and win Champions League 2 years in a row. That's how high this team can go.
I agree with the same thing. It's going to be take it all. Of course, my immediate thought was 2 Champions Leagues, but Connor, I'm not going to argue with it. It's got to be. They've got to win it all the time. Expectations are massive, but talent is massive. We're going to be, they to me remind me of like the Raiders and Tecmo Bowl of whenever we start playing FIFA together, it's got to be, okay, who gets to be Barcelona? Or not Barcelona, who gets to be PSG?
PSG.
And the other one gets to be Barcelona.
That would be a thing. That would be a thing. So, Rutledge, as we head into our third quarter, we are not only heating up for hot takes, but we are heating up for MLB Team of the Week.
You know, I am excited about this Team of the Week because it's just the city of Chicago, needs so much. And in the times of COVID, you just want to see good things go well for good people. And needed something to go well this year. It's Chicago White Sox fans. And how? They are second in the American League. They have the second best record in the American League behind the Rays, and they're like a game and a half back. They swept the Cubs over the weekend. They have a 10.5 game lead in the division. They signed Craig Kimbrell at least in trades, and I threw a massive pick because Connor figured out my offensive strategy. But the Chicago White Sox are a balanced attack. They don't lead Major League Baseball in any category, but that's because they do everything fairly well. But to me, looking at this team, my first hot take of the night, the White Sox, it's not about who are they better than or worse than in the American League. It's what is it going to look like for them when they meet the Giants or the Dodgers in the World Series?
Yeah, no, I think that the White Sox are definitely a potential World Series kind of team. I think they, as you hit the nail on the head, they do a lot of things really well. But with that, you got to be able to, if you're not going to be great at one thing, you can get bit sometimes by not being great at the one thing that trips you up and takes you down. So it's always important and always interesting just to try to understand, okay, how are the White Sox gonna how are they going to be keep their pitching good, right? I mean, Lucas Giolito, as example, he's struggling his last couple starts, right? If you're not an absolute stud that you believe can get out there every time and really make a big impact, I mean, what's going to happen if you've got a that one bad playoff start that has you go from game one, now you're down in the hole 1-0, and your ace got shellacked, and now your hitter's going to slump. So it's they do a lot of things really well. They did just sweep the Cubs, which being having that Chicago college experience, everybody is seemingly a Cubs fan. So being able to beat the Cubs is always great. And it's just in the same way with the Brewers last week. Being able to have that big division lead, I think, can only really help them as they get to try to finish out the season strong.
They definitely have everything going for them, and finishing the season is going to be very much theirs. It's going to be theirs to lose. I really think that this August schedule is going to, which can you believe we are cruising through August? But I really believe this August schedule is going to do them a lot of favors to set them up right. They have, on their schedule coming up, they have to play the A's, the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Cubs.
You almost just rhymed there. You should have come up with another team name to make it rhyme. The A's, the Rays, the Blue Jays.
I mean, the Cubs do have shrubs around their stadium.
The Cubs and the shrubs.
They don't get dubs. They are not flying the dub. That right?
They are not. Those Cubbies are not flying the W so much this year.
Not so much, but they have a pretty manageable schedule. I'm excited to see them play the Rays because that's a potential possible AL championship series. So to see how they're going to do against each other and how they're going to match up. Of course, we talked about the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays haven't stepped up as much as I wanted them to, but they have all the pieces in the right direction. I think Jose Abreu is going to be, he's got 21 home runs and 83 RBIs, so he can lead the way and kind of help with some scoring. But overall, I'm excited to see what this White Sox team is going to be capable of, and excited to see them hit their ceiling. Connor, who do you think is their biggest threat in the American League?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the American League, they probably don't have any threats there in that AL Central. The Twins are a dumpster fire, although the Royals did just take 2 out of 3 from the White Sox, so you better watch out. Those Royals can sometimes be a royal pain in the you-know-what. I would say as of now, probably whoever ends up winning the AL East. The AL East is just, I mean, it's a war zone there in the AL East. The fact that the Yankees are in third place, and they're not horrible, right? The Yankees, they've definitely been playing below their capabilities. So if they put it together, they can make it really tight there. So I think the Rays are obviously, somehow they keep on adding players and doing what they need to do to be successful. But I think I would imagine, and I'll go maybe a little bit crazy on my take here. I would say either I could see the Yankees just kind of being the team that sneaks into the playoffs and really gives the White Sox problems, or a team like the Red Sox, just that home field kind of vibe, in the playoffs could really give the White Sox some issues.
So here's some, as we talk about standings in the American League, of course you have to note that your division leaders are Tampa Bay, Chicago, and Houston. I want to bring up the Wild League, the Wild Card, the Wild League. In the American League, your in-order standings for the Wild Card are the A's, Boston, the Yankees, and then Toronto and Seattle with 5.5 games back, which, all right, Mariners, you're trying. Maybe you'll be team of the week one week. But there's definitely, there's definitely still, it's not going to be an easy playoffs for the White Sox. I still stand by my claim that they are very much a World Series contending team. But given all these wild card teams, they're going to have to work for it. The A's in Boston and even New York and Toronto, whoever slots into those spots, none of those are slouches. So they just got to kind of keep focused on what they are doing.
I also think it's awesome, and I love giving a shout out to the Sox because, as their manager, Tony La Russa is, such just an old school guy, right? In, baseball with, analytics and spin rates and all this stuff, having the new analytically, savvy manager, everyone thinks is so critical. White Sox, and actually it was the White Sox owner, apparently always wanted Tony La Russa to be his manager and finally could get him. Tony La Russa always was there with the St. Louis Cardinals, got him out of retirement, and he's got them moving in the right direction, even with a young roster, or even potentially, especially with a young roster.
Well, it'll be here before we know it. It'll be baseball. It'll be playoff time, and we'll have a massive must-bust interest going into these playoffs. Connor and I love our big play. We love the playoffs on this show, Connor. So,
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
We are fans of the playoffs, so
we love playoffs.
And I'm a fan of playoff baseball.
That was right to him. I think I've thrown 2 picks tonight, or is it 3?
That's at least 2. There's been a few that probably should have been picks, but
we are playing Madden.
I'm honing in on you.
Speaking of honing in, speaking of transitions, speaking of starting a new quarter, what is happening? College football is upon us. We are less than a month out. The most glorious day of the year is that first weekend, that first foot at 12 noon. It hits, and we get to start another college football season. We wouldn't be talking about college football without talking about the one, the only, the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. And there's one big name out there who, last time we talked about him, some disaster hit his career, Connor. Do you remember way back when, in our early days of our show? I feel like if we could afford the song, I would sing it. But it was also in September. Do you remember when we talked about?
Oh yeah, no, we were not fans, and I would still not be a fan of Bill O'Brien as a head coach, but he might have found himself in a good situation at the University of Alabama Career Rehab Center, a.k.a. Nick Saban's coaching staff.
Yep. They, if it worked for Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian, good things happen in 3. So, Bill O'Brien, you are on the right path. I wonder if you get a brochure when you sign on his coaching staff after your career's kind of fallen apart.
There's probably at least a phone call that gets placed by Nick Saban. And, good night as coming from an NFL coach where, you got to do so much with you have so little control. You have to do so much with so little control. I'm sure Bill O'Brien is just licking his chops. Because let's remember, he had a lot of success. He had a lot of success at Penn State.
Ding.
With everything. With everything he had going on and being able to turn that program around. It'll be, I think Bill O'Brien, it'll be really fun to see how he does this year with some of the, quote, toys that he has to play with now in his offensive arsenal.
I think it is a really good time for him to take that job because if you look at it, they just offloaded some massive offensive studs in the draft. So it's not as if they won the championship with Sark's system and now he has to go teach his system to guys that are like, wait, Why don't we do it the old way? We just won with that way. And of course, I don't think you get that much, questioning on college out of players, but still, um, I think it is not another pick.
Especially if you were an NFL head coach, though, you've got that going in your favor as well too. So even though Bill O'Brien should be questioned a lot for some of his maybe play calling decisions and personnel decisions, he doesn't have to make personnel decisions in terms of trading for players in college. He makes personnel decision in terms of recruiting players, but you're able to. That's probably a little bit more straightforward, I would imagine.
I wish I could make personnel decisions about winning this game, but that's for all of our podcast listeners out there. It's Friends Stream Sports, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, and hey, we're glad you're here. Drink Daddle's Coffee, 15% off, promo code FSS.
Drink Daddle's Coffee for the dogs.
For the dogs, dog. Outside of that, I think there's a conference we need to give a shout out because it needs some love. Does anyone still even care about winning the Big 12? Does anyone still even care that it's around? I feel like the Big 12 is the weird kid at school now that is moving at the end of the school year, so you don't invite to your birthday party because what's the point? We're not going to be friends anymore. You're going away, right? Like, you're great. Yeah, you're moving to Maine. Okay, cool.
You're moving to Maine.
But we live in Florida.
Did you know that Maine technically is the oldest state in the country in terms of population?
Did you know it's hard to talk about Maine without making a bunch of Maine puns?
You are the Broncos tonight.
Like the main way that you won today was because of 3 picks?
That's been a thing. That has definitely helped. But no, I think as it relates to the Big 12,
wait,
you're
watch
right.
Von Miller fall over. Watch him. Did you see him?
He's kind of done. He's starting to call uncle as these Colts are rolling.
The horses are running.
The horses versus the horses. I think that this year as it relates to Oklahoma, it's kind of their conference to lose. Although Rutledge, I would not count Iowa State out of any football game that they're playing in.
No, Iowa State is definitely a good deal team that is going to go in a good direction. This may be the year that Iowa State is actually a contender for the Big 12 instead of kind of an upset. So, if I were to put Big 12 out there for performance, I think I would definitely go, Oklahoma 1, Iowa State 2, and then maybe Texas 3.
Because Iowa State is bringing back a lot of their players, and their quarterback and their running back are going to be coming back. So I think here's another hot take for you. Iowa State is a sneaky dark horse playoff team.
It's not impossible. Does that mean, what is your top 3 playoff? Are we on the same page that your assumed playoff teams are still Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State?
Oh, of course.
I think if Iowa State had a win against Oklahoma, I definitely agree with that. They could make a playoff run. I think the state of Iowa would not know what to do. I don't think there is enough fans of Iowa State in the state of Iowa to fill their allotted tickets for the playoffs.
Oh, they would have to go to South Carolina and be like, "Hey, throw on this shirt. What's it for? You're going to a playoff game, but South Carolina's not in the playoffs. No, just throw on this shirt. It'll be okay."
Why's it got to be about South Carolina, Connor? Why couldn't it have been they went to UCLA, Michigan State?
It could have been those teams,
No.
But I'm saying it could be about South Carolina because the fans are so passionate that they'd love to go cheer for a playoff team.
We're bringing out the South Carolina jokes already. This is because Beamer was early to media days, isn't it?
Apparently, I was listening to Colin Cowherd today. He had Mike Vick on. Mike Vick was at South Carolina training camp the other day.
Saw that.
he said it was a good time out there with Coach Beamer and the boys.
I feel like anytime anyone would pay Mike Vick to do anything, it's a good time. Because I
Oh,
watched a video
absolutely.
of Mike Vick talk about all of the best rushing quarterbacks that played in the NFL. You know who was number one on his list?
Mike Vick.
Yep. I think number
I
two
believe
was
that.
Russell Wilson. Number one was himself. He's like, number one, obviously me. Have you seen my records?
I mean, how could it not be? Like, let's be real here. Like, some of the things that he did, like that's not even being showy. That's just like talking the truth.
I mean, he was good. I will say if I gave a way too early number 4 for the playoff, and not just because of where I live, but kind of a feeling of it, I'm going split between Texas A&M or Georgia. Could be a good early preseason number 4. Texas A&M, though, they have to beat Bama. And it would be Texas A&M would be in there, and Bama would be a 4. But I think one of those two SEC teams, they're both kind of contenders last year, could possibly have a shot. But
No doubt,
I like the Iowa State idea though.
Hey, let's just track them. I mean, and who knows? Maybe it's a little kiss of death here for me, but that could be a thing.
Oh, he came down with that.
Nice.
Well, that's a loss anyway. Steven, you're
How does
watching
it
the
feel?
show tonight. Who is your number 4 for the playoffs, Steven? I know you're out there. We have 5 viewers right now. Give a huge shout out to all 5 of our viewers. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate that. That's some good support tonight, Connor.
We always appreciate our viewers this evening and all evenings.
Well, Connor, as we get into picks, we're going to get ready for the week. So we're going to talk about A's, Rays, Blue Jays, and Cubs for days. How do you feel like the White Sox do against all those opponents? Who do you think they do well against, and who do they struggle against?
They're going to take 2 out of 3 from the Rays. They're going to take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays, and I think the Rays. That's the big series to watch. I could see the Rays winning that series 2 out of 3.
I agree that I think they only win one against the A's and the Rays, and then sweep the Blue Jays and the Cubs.
There you go. Another sweep for the Northside rivals. That's pretty big time.
Another sweep. Kyle Larson won this past week at Watkins Glen. Chase Elliott finished second, and I used up my last Chase Elliott spot on my fantasy NASCAR team this week, so I hope it got me some points. By the way, Steven the Steady is leading our NASCAR league. So Steve, remember, if you win our NASCAR league as we've had with the season, you get another guest spot on the show. So we hope that it's you.
And some golden jorts.
And the golden jorts. Gotta win those jorts.
Hey, that's like one of. We talk about Lionel Messi winning Ballon d'Ors. You win our NASCAR league, you get golden jorts. That's pretty much the same thing.
Which we're gonna make ourselves in 2 different states.
It'll be awesome.
This weekend, though, NASCAR is doing another road course with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. So normally we think about just kissing the bricks. We're going to do some loop-de-loops over there at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Going as a road course race, Connor, who do you think your pole winner is going to be?
I always, as it relates to pole winning, I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick.
I am going to go with Kyle Larson. I think they did good last week at the Glen. I think they'll do good this week.
Nice.
We have 2 weeks left until the NASCAR. We have 3 races left until the NASCAR playoffs start. They start Sunday, September 5th at Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina, not too far from where I live.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
But as that's it. That's our show. What another great show we had. We gained ourselves another follower out there, so thank you for following us. And give everyone a shout out. Remember, get you some Daddles Coffee, daddlescoffee.com. Get 15% off, promo code FSS. Connor, anything for the people?
If anybody wants to buy us Madden 21 so we could upgrade our game a year, I'm here for it.
I'll even take Madden 22 if you feel like paying.
Well, that too.
All right. Well, as that goes, for Friend Stream Sports, I'm Rutledge.
And I'm Connor.
and have a great night.